Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well, and today I've got another card showcase for you today covering cards that do something that every card game player wants to do, is draw cards. Starting off, we got Super Coin, a 3-cost normal action that allows you to draw 2 cards. I know it also says that your opponent flips a coin, but aside from that, this is your normal draw 2 card. It's pretty useful to have. Next is Quick Draw. This is a 1-cost normal action that says you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you add one of them to your hand and discard the other card. It's useful if you want. It gives you a little bit of a choice as to what kind of cards you want to put in your hand. It's pretty cheap too. Next is Dash, which is a normal action card that costs 2 power. This one also lets you draw 2 cards, but you also discard 1 card in your hand. It can still be pretty handy though, especially if you have a strategy that revolves around your discard pile. This can help you fill it up, though I suppose Quick Draw could do that too. Next is Jake's Net Search. This is a 4-cost normal action, and it allows you to look at the top 6 cards of your deck. You choose 2 of them and you add them to your hand. The rest go on the bottom in any order. So this is another card draw 2 card like Super Coin here, but this one gives you a little more selection and you get to look at the top 6 of your deck and pick the 2 best ones. So while it does cost a bit more than Super Coin, it's still pretty good. Next is Exchange, which for 3 power, you get a normal action that forces each player to count the cards in their hand, shuffle those cards into their deck, and draw that many cards. It is definitely more of a hand disruption tool than a card that gets you additional cards. You do go -1 in cards after all in your hand. But if you need a bit of a hand refresh, this can be pretty helpful. It also, like I said, messes with the cards in your opponent's hand, so it's pretty good in those ways. Next is Recon, a 4-cost normal action card that states you look at your opponent's hand, then you discard as many cards as you like from your hand and draw that many cards. Like Exchange, it does cause you to go -1 in your hand compared to your opponent, but you do get to look at your opponent's hand and you get to choose how many cards you want to draw, and it's also another nice way of filling the discard too. Next is Gambler, which is arguably the most powerful card here. It's a 4-cost normal action card that requires you to shuffle your hand into your deck and roll a 6-sided die. And then you draw a number of cards equal to the number shown on the die. So potentially you can get 6 cards from this if you roll right. It's arguably a pretty good card for a hand refresh if you get the roll right. Next is All In, which is kind of similar to Gambler in a way, in that you do roll dice to determine if you draw cards. This is another 4-cost normal action that states that you discard any number of other cards from your hand and roll a 6-sided die. If you roll 4 or higher, you draw that many cards. For example, if you discard 2 cards from your hand and you roll 4 or higher, you would draw 4. It's another way of filling the discard pile while also potentially getting a bunch of cards. Next is Tactical Planning, which is one of the more expensive cards at 6 power cost. It's a normal action that lets you choose one of the other cards in your hand, shuffle the other cards into your deck, and draw 4 cards. It's arguably a better hand refresh than Exchange is, and it also helps that it only affects you. So if you really need a hand refresh, this can be pretty helpful. Next is Enoch's Inspiration. This is the highest cost of a card yet, with 10. It's a normal action card that's pretty simple. You gain 5 life and draw 5 cards. Probably not the most useful if you desperately need cards. It's more of a win more card if anything, but it can be pretty good when you're ahead to help you stay ahead. Next is a terrain card. First time seeing one of these in a showcase. It's Super Speed Stadium. It costs 2 power, and it states that each player may draw 2 cards at the start of their turn instead of 1. Definitely helps speed up the game for everyone, and it can help you get to the cards you need a little faster. Next, I've got some characters who can draw you cards. And the first of these is Paranormal Researcher, which is a 2 power cost scientist character. He has 1 attack and 1 defense, and his ability is pretty simple. His data gathering ability states that on play, you draw a card. It's pretty simple. Next is the Sentient Deck of Cards. It's a spirit character with 3 power cost, 4 attack, 2 defense, and his second ability, Haste, costs 2 power and allows you to, once per turn, draw a card. So this can be a pretty good engine for you. His first ability is not bad either. It's an automatic ability called Solid Frame that states if this character is knocked out by battle, you do not lose life. So it can also be a good defender as well. The next card is the Negotiator, who's a more expensive character. He's a human dealer with 8 cost, 8 attack, 8 defense. And his first ability, the Deal, costs 2 life points and allows you to, once per turn, draw a card. He also has a second ability that costs 2 life points called Attack that allows one of your characters to get +1/+1 until end of turn. Arguably, the card draw is a bit better than his second ability, but how you use them is up to you. Finally, I want to cover a few cards that, while they don't draw cards, are kind of related to it. Psychic Pondering is next, and it's another 1 cost card that's a normal action. It states that you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to put them on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. While it's not the greatest on its own, it can help set up your other draws for later. Like if you follow this up with Dash or Super Coin, or any of the other draw engines like the Negotiator here, it can help you filter out and get to the cards you want. Finally, I have a pair of searching cards that allow you to find cards directly from your deck. And the first of these is arguably the better of the two, and that's Prize Grabber. For 3 power, you get a normal action that allows you to search your deck for a card with power cost 5 or less and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. And a lot of cards have cost 5 or less, let me tell you. And I really like the art on this one too. You got the vending machine here, and you got the cool wallpaper in like a dimly lit arcade. It's pretty nice. Finally, I have another Searcher in Reinforcements. This is a 4 cost normal action that simply states, search your deck for a character, reveal it, and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. In my previous video, that was a card showcase, I showed you Call of the Heroes that allowed you to grab 2 hero characters from your deck. While this grabs less characters, this allows you to grab characters of any subtype you want. So, if your deck revolves around characters, this is always a good card to have. And that does it for today's card showcase. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know which of these cards was your favorite. And if you enjoyed, as always, be sure to leave a like and stay tuned for more card showcases in the future. I will catch you guys next time. Take care.